Welcome to the podcast, Wake Up Humans with Steve Judson.
Hey, good morning, guys. Dr. Steven Judson here. And one of the biggest things I was thinking about this morning is your own personal growth. And, as we wake up today and it's a rainy Halloween day here in New England, I'm just grateful that I get to experience it. Every day we wake up and we hear of people we know losing loved ones, and you realize that my loved ones are still here, and I'm still here to experience it. So I'm grateful for that. And one of the things I do every morning is when I get up, grab my cup of coffee and go sit and chill out, is get in a state of gratefulness. And what am I grateful for? First thing that always comes to mind is my family and my wife and my kids. And I sit there and I just picture their faces and how blessed I am to have 5 kids and an awesome, supportive wife. And what does that mean to my world? And that right there will just make me smile. It changes my state of mind, makes me feel good about myself. And at the end of the day, it's really our biggest accomplishment is how we're affecting our household, how our behavior affects our household. And especially when your kids become teenagers, man, they're going to really reflect the type of relationship you have with them. The kids see you at your worst times. They see you when you're going through the most difficult times. And they also see how you handle that quote unquote stress. So your kids will show you for real, and show you, and your spouse will as well, because they could be honest with you and tell you whether you're being incongruent or they're calling you out on your bullshit, whatever it is. They're going to be real with you, because sometimes people out in the world are just going to tell you what you want to hear. They want something from you. They're going to try to placate you because they're comfortable, and there's a result they want with your relationship, where your kids just want your love. Your spouse just wants your love. Your true friends want your authentic self and the real you, because they could see through any incongruency and BS. So when we talk about having an attitude of gratitude, what are you grateful for? Because a lot of things are happening in the world that we really can't control, but there's a lot that we can control. And the biggest thing we can control is our own personal energy, our space that we live in, our own personal expression of life. And I keep saying the word personal because it's personal. This is you. This is you versus you, right? And the picture and the perception of your life that we're going to create is the only thing you really have control over. End of story. So when we get in a space of gratitude, it's one of the purest forms of love, humbleness. And if you're finding there's not a lot of stuff to be grateful for, then there's time for even more massive change. And that's a whole other story. As we inch closer to goal setting towards New Year's and changing your life, I would absolutely say don't wait until New Year's to make a resolution. Make a statement today. Make a vision statement today, something that is going to empower you. And let me tell you, sometimes the biggest thing that's going to turn your personal life ship around is going to be the most painful thing you could do for yourself. Most painful thing you could do for yourself. For me personally, I came to the realization that I was so busy taking care of other people and pouring all my energy into other people, I wasn't taking full care of myself. And my gratification came through, because I don't want to be an alcoholic and I don't do drugs or anything, was food. So I would just eat comfort food, man. My most comfort comes through, give me a toasted bagel with butter. But what comes with that, the outcome of that, is a fat ass. And I got sick and tired of that, because my expression of life wasn't fully what I wanted it to be. And when I sat down and got real with myself, I wasn't happy 100% with myself and my expression of life, because I knew that I was dealing with my emotions through that chemical destruction that made me feel good for the moment, then mentally took away my own spiritual and intellectual happiness. So I had to make a massive change. So with that said, I had to get painful within myself and change things. And, once a month I do a 5-day cleanse, which yesterday was day 3, man. It sucks. Like I'm just like tired, and I got to get through the day. But today's day 4, and tomorrow's day 5, and it's over. And since doing this over the past couple months, we're down 42 pounds, baby, and we ain't stopping. We just went from a 42-inch waist pants, and I'm wearing 38-inch waist pants today, baby. Yeah. So let me tell you something. I'm grateful, and I ain't stopping because I love my kids so much. I love my wife so much. I love my family that I'm worth the moments of pain that's going to give me a better result at the end of the day. And I'm grateful for that awareness, and I want to give you that awareness. I want to share that, with no attachment to it. It's not like at the end of this video and podcast, we're going to turn around and try to sell you a freaking weight loss program. That, to me, that's bullshit. You could do it. You could do it by just cutting back calories, getting your ass in a gym, and changing your lifestyle. I already get adjusted every week. Thank God. My blood work and everything is awesome because my atlas is clear. I have a great attitude of gratitude. I have a great mindset, but it was taking that next step of action, massive action, and I ain't going back. One of my greatest mentors, Dr. Sid Williams, would always tell the story at DE, the Dynamic Essential conference that we go to, and it was burning the ships. And there was a great general who took his warriors to shore, and their ships were out at sea, and there were very few men. And when they got to shore, they realized they were greatly outnumbered, but they had to win this battle. If they didn't win this battle, their families were going to suffer. Their outcome back then was you lose the battle, you lose to these other dudes. They're showing up and they're raping your wives, your sons, your kids. They own you. That was their pain. So they had to win. So when they started showing a little bit of question as to, man, can we do this? What's plan B? The general said, look out to sea, and they turned around and their ships were burning. There was no going back. You were either dying or you were winning. So they had one option, to win if they wanted to see their family again. So when you sit down and you write your gratitude list, and I challenge you to write it down, and don't stop writing. Try to write 300 things. And it could be as silly as the damn tree in your backyard. You're grateful for that tree. Because when you write 300 things, there comes a point you're going to be reaching, but you're going to start realizing the simple things. The fact that you could grab a pen and write a letter. You could grab a pen and fill out a check. Because there's people now having massive strokes that cannot hold a pen in their hand, and they won't for the rest of their life. Could you imagine losing that process? You have it right now. Be grateful for the small things, because it's the small things that lead to the big things. And when we change our state of mind and we get an attitude of gratitude, we start to empower ourselves, and we give power back to our own innate intelligence to express itself, because we're pushing it forward with fuel to the soul that's going to help us make choices, that your innate's going to talk to you. Your gut's going to talk to you and say, stop doing this, do this. And when you go, oh man, your educated mind kicks in and says, I don't know if I could do that. Let me tell you something. As long as it's safe and within means, that's the thing you need to do. The thing that seems to be the most painful. Most painful. You know what? 5 days a week for 1 month, every month, try to live under 700 calories and go work and hustle. Go get your atlas checked. Make sure you're clear. And get within yourself and see, what are the things, my emotions, that are blocking me? Because your emotions will stop your motion, which will block you physically. And when you get blocked physically, life starts to slow down. Life is motion. And when we get into motion with action, our emotions change. When your emotions change, holy cow, man, life changes. And when you stop all the busyness and we look around us and say, what am I grateful for? I look at my car keys and I'm like, I own a car. I'm grateful. I'm grateful because that car gets me around. It gets me to visit friends. It gets me to the airport to fly around the world. Have you ever thought about that? As silly as it may seem, it's a small thing. But I also remember the day when I couldn't afford a car. There was no Uber or anything. I would pull pennies and quarters together to take a cab, to go to the train station, where I had to borrow money to get a monthly pass to go on a train, to go to the city, to go to school. Man, that's insane. Now I own multiple cars. How blessed is that? Because I went through the struggle and earned it. Because the goal, I knew my outcome. I had a goal to achieve. But the key is getting in state every single day. And that takes work. We can't let the environment control our state of mind. The most powerful thing you have, right, is your mind, body, spirit. But I really think the spirit has to come first. You got to recognize your spirit, that spirit from within, that driving force from within you that makes you tick day in and day out, and connecting to that spirit. And that's why when we get up early in the morning, get up before everybody and just get into an attitude of gratitude and connect to your spirit, whether it's meditating, praying. To me, it's all the same. And I get grateful that God has given me all this opportunity. He's given me free will, free choice to do whatever I choose to do and what is possible through that. Philippians 4:13, I have it tattooed on the inside of my arm. I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's been driving me since I'm a little boy. Because through their tough days and times where, as a kid, times got dark. And I had that one thing to fall back on. And I thank God to this day. I'm grateful that I had that in my life to do that. So with that said, are you feeding your spirit? Are you feeding your soul? Because that's going to feed your life. And then how's that trickling over into the people around you? Your children, your spouse, your friendships. Are they feeding into that with you, or are they pulling that away? Are people stealing your energy, stealing your vibration? Life is like one big dance, man. It's a song that we're just living. And you're choosing the energy of that. Go back and read the past 10 text conversations you had on your phone. And what did those conversations look like? Were they empowering, or were they stealing from you? Now, it's a different story. If you've got a friend going through a tough time and they're reaching out to you, that's what friendship is for, man. That's not stealing your spirit. That's connection. But I know today we'll have people walking through our front door because it's supposed to be rainy and dark and gloomy. And I'm grateful for that, man. Because the trees, the grass, the flowers, the nature does not get groomed without that. And I also know we have no power over this, which keeps me connected to the source, that there's something more powerful than any one of us out there. So you can't stop that rain. I can't go out there and say stop. There was only one that parted the sea when the sea needed to be parted, and that wasn't me. So I got to be humble to that source and grateful that I get to experience it. You know what? If it's raining back home, go out at lunchtime and just get wet. Go in your backyard and stand naked and get wet. Roll in the grass and get dirt up your ass and be grateful that you could do it. Be silly. Be young. One of the greatest things I do with my son, and he talks about it to this day, the first time we did it, it was pouring out. Like the streets were flooding. And I said, come on, bro, let's go out. Let's go play. Let's go for a run. And we went down to the park. We ran around. We brought a football, and he was running, sliding, dirty. We came home. There was a couple cars driving, pulling over. Like, you need a ride? Like, you guys nuts? And we're laughing. Laughing. He was probably like 9 years old at the time. And he still talks about it. It was just silly. And we were soaked. Now, I don't look at the rain and say, don't go out in the rain. It's going to make you sick. Because I know that's a false prophecy. The power that made the body can help me adapt to the rain, adapt to the chill in the air. My body's all about survival, so I don't live in the fear. You know, I was listening to a gentleman, David Coggins, and he's a great person to listen to, someone who came over great adversity, David Coggins. And he was talking about, he's a big runner. He used to weigh 300 pounds, and he woke up one day and said, I'm tired of being a fat ass, I got to change this. So he started running 100-mile races. He went from 0 to 100. And he transformed his life. And now he's famous. Everyone wants to interview him because he did this. He broke his feet. He was running so much. And you have to ask yourself, why does everyone want to interview this guy? Why? What does this guy have that I don't? The answer is freaking nothing. He just did it. He had so much pain in his life that he had to make a choice. He was either going to die young and fat, or he was going to make massive change. So he woke up, put his sneakers on, and just started running 100 miles. Check him out, David Coggins. And when you hear him talk, he uses a lot of vulgar language and everything, but I love it because he's fired up. He's got no filter. He was raised in a rough environment. Rough environment. You listen to his story. I don't need to tell you. But he made massive change. And he was talking about how there will be people the night before looking up the weather for tomorrow to know whether or not they should go running outside or they should go running inside. And it's kind of funny when you think about people drive to the gym to stand on a treadmill. And he talks about he doesn't care what the weather is, because the more painful he makes it for himself, the better his life gets. If it's pouring out, he'll go run in the rain because he knows his body's designed to adapt to that. And think about that. The possibility that you could still do that and do anything you want. But what created that mindset for him was the pain he was standing in. He had to wake up one day and make a massive decision. And the decision was to change his life, and he was tired of being mediocre in his own mind. He didn't wake up and say, I want to be a multimillionaire. He just woke up and said, I'm tired of being fat. I'm tired of living this little lifestyle. I want to change me. So he did it. So my challenge to all humans is, what's the thing we need to do to change us to become our greatest design and our authentic self that God created us to be? What is the things holding us back? And I know, number one, when we do our orientation class and we talk about subluxation and we talk about the atlas, people always want to know, what causes subluxation? What causes this interference? And I literally write on the board, stress, chemical, physical, and then I put a big E for emotional. And I say to the people, which one you think is the number one stress in society? And they sit there staring. And I go, look at the bigger letter, people. Wake up. The answer's in front of you. And they all say emotional. But people don't want to admit it so much in the beginning. Because people don't feel they're supposed to be emotionally unstable and have emotional stuff. We're all supposed to be strong. We're all supposed to be powerful. It's a lie. We're all weak. Admit it. And once we face our weakness and we challenge it and attack it, and hit it face on, you become stronger. Day in and day out, you become stronger. Period. And then you become a better role model to people around you, like David Coggins, and they want to hear your story because they want to change their story. But how many people have taken the action to go ahead and change it and get uncomfortable and change their story? And that's our challenge to ourselves. Get humble, get grateful, listen within, and go do and take massive action to that thing you're being told to do from within. It doesn't take a doctor to stand in front of you and say, you need to do this, you need to go for a walk. You know the answer. When you get quiet within yourself and you say, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to lose weight, and now your routine is to get in your car on the way to work, drive to Dunkin' Donuts, and grab some munchkins and a large extra sweet coffee. Let me tell you something, that shit's bad for you. Just stop. You know the answer. When you go to pull out a stick and suck on it, it's a vape machine, and you're wondering why you have trouble walking upstairs and can't breathe, maybe you should stop sucking on the stick. You know the answer. But you understand you're driving to that window and grabbing the munchkins and you're sucking on the stick because you're looking for immediate gratification because you're not happy where you are. You're not happy or content with your environment. You're not feeling good about yourself. We're burying emotions. And I don't care whether it's a toasted buttered bagel, a vape, alcohol, cocaine, it's all doing the same thing. Burying your emotions, stealing your life, and it's taking away your attitude of gratitude. So what are you going to do to change it? You know what? You can comment below and we could create an accountability group, but I've also realized that people will get caught up in the moment. It's like sitting in a jacuzzi and you go, that feels good. And they say, I'm going to do this. And then you talk to them 3 months later and they haven't done shit. They got out of the jacuzzi and they got comfortable. We call that the jacuzzi experience. So you could have an accountability group, but at the end of the year, did you grow? Did you change? Did you do that thing that seemed painful at the time, and once you started doing it, you realized, man, that ain't so bad? And who's holding you accountable to that? And I'm saying this. I could tell you get an accountability partner, and you got to call each up every day, whatever. And, at the end of the day, take the damn skirt off and just do it. Look yourself in the mirror and be your own accountability partner. Talk to the Lord and say, bro, I'm doing this, man. I'm connecting because this is what I was designed to do. That's my accountability. Because Your friend has a bad day and they're not connected, and now they're not holding you accountable, you're going to quit? You're only quitting on you. So get real with yourself. If you're a mom or dad listening to this, here's my challenge to you. I want you to go home and go to that cabinet over your sink, medicine cabinet, and open that thing up and pull out every single pill, lotion that's in there and Google the side effects. And next time you put in that in your own mouth or your kid's mouth, say, is that good for them? Is there a better option? Is there something different I could be doing? Pretty challenging, eh? Your kid gets a cough, you want him to drink the sauce? Or you're letting him cough out the garbage and wonder, why is their immune system weak? And that's where How's Your Atlas comes from, baby. We don't have a cabinet like that in our household. Doesn't exist. The kids walk around with a clear atlas. Clear atlas. And it pumps them up and keeps them at a higher level. That we're not reaching into that damn cabinet, putting poisons and toxins into a kid to knock them out so they could sleep. The kids work hard, study hard, play hard, live hard, get adjusted. They're connected. They're not afraid of the rain. They're not getting sick from the weather. They're not getting congested from a leaf falling off a tree because they have allergies. They don't have shortness of breath because they have exercise-induced asthma. They're fully connected from day one. You want research? There's research. I got an engineer right now that wants research. I'm like, bro, 124 plus years, human beings getting adjusted. Find me longer research on human beings. I got nothing to prove to you. Show up. Bring your kids and rip that damn cabinet off the wall and throw it in the garbage. You don't need that crap. Because when you live clear, the body adapts and lives to its fullest potential. You think you can be grateful for that? So when we get back into a loving space and say an attitude of gratitude, how grateful will you be for your kids not having to take any dope? You, your wife, your husband, whatever. Being abundant. Traveling the world. You know, patients will ask me, man, why are you so tan? I live outside. What are people doing with themselves? I got 5 kids. I'm on the side of a soccer field, baseball field, football field, lacrosse field, all the time. They say, well, you better wear sunscreen. Mamma mia, can we just be grateful for sun and life and our body's ability to adapt and live to its fullest potential? Because if you don't, you live in fear and you're not grateful for what you have. Your kids are learning that story from you and the magic is stolen from their spirit. And essentially they become you. And will you be happy to see that? Because if you're not happy with you, will your son or daughter be happy with who they become as a result of you? So I'm calling you out. Get quiet every morning. Get into an attitude of gratitude. Embrace yourself. You got kids, visualize them, holding them, loving them, kissing them, being happy for who they are. Grateful for their health, grateful for their life, grateful for all the things you've got in your life. And then when you get into a special space, your innate intelligence is going to talk to you and start telling you where things could go better for you. And the challenge is to take massive action and make it happen. And the second action step is rip the medicine cabinet off your wall and throw that shit in the garbage and make massive change for yourself, your spouse, your family, and decide to become the leader in your household and build a powerful, loving, nurturing environment where daily drugs aren't necessary to fuel the engine to get through the day, but pure love, faith, gratitude, joy, awesomeness of life is fueling your fire to be a better human being, authentic and crushing your expression of life. So your kids could grow up someday and know that they could kick ass in life and rock it. Imagine what that looks like. Imagine what that feels like. Get in that space, standing at your child's wedding and being so proud that you raised this awesomeness of a human being that's going to make the world a better place. It's time to wake up, humans, but it's time to take responsibility. Love and appreciate you.
You've been listening to Wake Up Humans with Steve Judson. To get Steve's books, Wake Up Humans and Atlas Adjusted, just visit Amazon. The Wake Up Humans podcast is a copyright of Steve Judson. Be sure to look up other episodes. Wake Up Humans will educate, inspire, and bring you clarity. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Humans with Steve Judson. Visit JudsonChiropractic.com.